Homeless, homeless, moonlight sleeping on a midnight lake. Homeless, hoo-ya, homeless. Moonlight sleeping on. I am vlogging back on my favorite Sony 28mm f2, and I got that lens because I need it to work well with the Sony A7 IV. And I got the Sony A7 IV for photography mainly, so I can do more photography, be easier on my back. But then again, my main form of income is still videography, and I am now a videographer without an A7S III. And to be brutally honest, I need an A7S III for videography. I just need that slow-mo without having to crop. But you know, there are workarounds, and one of the workarounds is with my two A7 IV bodies, which is all I can afford. The workaround is you put the sexy 50mm 1.2 on one body, and that can be like active stabe, so that becomes like a 55, and it crops in 10%, so it's like a 55 on a 1.4, just still bloody excellent. And the other body I put on the gimbal, and I use the 28mm. And that is full frame at 4K. I film in 4K when I do weddings at 28mm. But if you want slow-mo, it only does it when it's cropped in. So that 28mm becomes a 42mm, like f3. And that's how I'm gonna do my workaround. By the way, today's vlog was supposed to be during the day, but I was so busy that it's become a night vlog. And I've come to Balmoral, which is a beautiful little quiet beach. It's got an awesome walkway, if you can see that. We may try and do a little walking vlog test with this. I quite like the colours. I've been filming my weddings at really low bit rates, and the aim is to keep the file size low, but trust me, it doesn't compromise on the quality. Just don't try to correct things too much. Don't, well, nail your white balance. And not only that, if you're happy after you pointed at something white, like lock it off, so then you're not having to correct a smaller quality codec. And sometimes I'm really naughty and I'll film in 8-bit. Okay, so today's footage is 4K, 25p, and it's only 60 megabits per second, that's naughty, and 8 bits. And I've kept it dark so my skin isn't blown out. And this is how I've been filming weddings. And I can fit a full 8 to 12 hour day somewhere in there on, well, eventually I can fit it on one SD card and send that off. So it's under, a full wedding for me is under 128 gigs. That's all I wanted to say, really. I'll take some footage. I'll show you the 28mm compared to 42mm. We came here and there was a concert on, so that was cool. I was able to show some examples of that. Can't show the audio because that might get me pinged, or I don't know, maybe. They were really good. So the better they are, does that mean the closer they are to setting off, like, you know, the Shazam software to recognize the song? Either way, it's not my audio, so I'll show you what it looks like. 28mm, auto white. And then locking off focus, trying to get those singers. 28mm isn't really ideal for concert stuff. Didn't expect to see a concert though. And you can see the difference between that and the 42. So it becomes really versatile. And what I'll do, actually, I'll show you a shot from a wedding I did recently where I have done my usual slow-mo walk. I love doing the slow-mo walks. And normally I would have done that on my Sony A7S III with the 35mm. And it's so handy, you can just flick between S and Q mode. I've got that set up. Crank out a slow-mo, and the rest of the day you can choose. Well, you know what, on the A7S III, I was filming on the A7Siii S, and that doesn't do 25p for some reason. I don't know why. So I've been filming the whole weddings at 50p. So that's been pretty cool. Slow down stuff if you need. Do not overuse slow-mo footage. One thing I will say with this, it does have an advantage over the A7S3, and that is the active stab stays on during slow-mo. And on the A7S3, I noticed that, if I remember correctly, I think it turns off. So the A7 IV can kind of be forgiven if you wanted to do some handheld 50p max or 60p maybe, where you come from, on a slow-mo setting. It doesn't do 100 unless you'd go to HD, and I haven't been doing things in HD, but you kind of get a little bit of it back. A lot of the time people, they shoot handheld and they try to slow it down in post, you know, forgive the bit of the movement. But the active stab kind of forgives that a little bit. Anyway, I think I've spoken enough. I'll just muck around now. I've lost Lila. I've sent her on a walk. Let's go for a walk, eh? So this is 10,000 ISO, 1 on 50, f2. And I'm still shooting on my 8-bit 4K 25p 420 setting. Yeah, Balmoral Beach. It's such a good place to come and walk, even at night. So this is still 10,000. So I'm hoping when I get back on the computer that the noise isn't too big, too noisy. Deafening noise. And if I shoot back towards the boathouse there, I can lower the ISO to something more friendly, noise friendly, at 3200. That's pretty sweet. You see the Tiffen blooming there. I don't shoot weddings with any Tiffen glass on, by the way, or any diffusion filters, because you can kind of fake that on the computer afterwards. You don't have to risk it and bake it all in your shot on the day. It does not work well when you do backlit diffusion shots, unless you're really going for the blown out shot. I don't recommend doing that. There are times when it does look pretty cool though, nice even lighting, but something like that, that's crazy. It kind of works. You can see the little blue dot. That's what diffusion filters do. So I can always tell when I see that. This would kind of work for a first dance if you wanted to add a bit of mystery to the shot. Either that, or make it kind of moody, or if they're really ugly, you can make the shot sexy like that. And then that's all I really wanted to talk about in this vid, just a quick one. Homeless, homeless, moonlight sleeping on a midnight lake. Homeless, ooh-ya, homeless, brrr, moonlight sleeping on a midnight lake.